Chapter 3. He Runs Away. Oliver sat down to rest by the side of the milestone. It was just 70 miles from that place to London. London? Nobody, not even Mr. Bumble, could ever find him there. It was the very place for a homeless boy. As these things passed through his mind, he jumped on his feet and again walked forward. He walked 20 miles that day, and all that time he had nothing to eat but a crust of dry bread and some water, which he begged at the cottage doors by the roadside. When the night came, he crept under a hayrick. He felt frightened at first, and he was cold and hungry, but he was so tired that soon he fell asleep and forgot all his troubles. In the morning, Oliver felt cold and stiff. He was very hungry. His feet were sore, and his legs trembled beneath him as he went on along the road. Early on the 7th morning, Oliver limped slowly into the little town of Barnet. He sat down on a doorstep because he couldn't walk any longer. He was weak with hunger, his feet were bleeding, and he ached all over. The sun was rising in all its splendid beauty, and people began passing to and from. Some few stopped to gaze at Oliver for a moment or two, or turned round to stare at him as they hurried by, but none troubled themselves to inquire how he came there. Then Oliver noticed a very strange boy of his age. He was a snub-nosed boy with rather bow legs and little sharp ugly eyes. He wore a man's coat which was too large for him and reached nearly to his heels. The boy came up to Oliver. As he spoke, he kept his hands in his trousers pockets. "Hello, what you are doing here?" "I'm very hungry and tired," replied Oliver. "I have walked a long way. I have been walking these 7 days." "Going to London?" said strange boy. "Yes." "Got any lodgings?" "No." "Money?" "No." The strange young gentleman helped Oliver get on his feet and took him into a small public house where he bought Oliver some bread and ham. As Oliver enjoyed his meal, the boy eyed him from time to time with great attention. "Do you live in London?" inquired Oliver. "Yes, I do," replied the boy. "I suppose you want some place to sleep in tonight, don't you?" "I do indeed," answered Oliver. "I have not slept under a roof since I left the country." "I have got to be in London tonight," said the young gentleman. "I know an old gentleman who will give you lodgings for nothing." This led to a more friendly and confidential dialogue, from which Oliver knew that his friend's name was Jack Dawkins, and among his friends he was better known as the Artful Dodger. Oliver suspected that one who had such name hardly could be an honest person. However, he was very thankful to the boy for the nice food. And more than that, poor Oliver didn't know anybody in London and he didn't have any place to sleep, so he went with the Artful Dodger. They reached London at 11 o'clock in the evening. Soon they came to a very dirty place. There were many drunken men and women in the street. Oliver just started thinking about running away when his companion caught him by the arm and pushed open the door of a house. Oliver couldn't see anything in the dark. Jack Dawkins was moving easily, and that showed that he was acquainted with the place very well. He threw open the door of a back room and drew Oliver in after him. The walls and ceiling of the room were perfectly black with age and dirt. There was a very old, villainous-looking man with matted red hair. He was dressed in a greasy flannel gown. Near the fireplace there was a clothes horse, over which a great number of silk handkerchiefs were hanging. Several beds made of old sacks were side by side on the floor. 4 or 5 boys, none older than the Dodger, were sitting round the table. "This is him, Fagin," said Jack Dawkins. "My friend Oliver Twist." The old man grinned and took Oliver by the hand. Then all the boys shook both his hands. "We are very glad to see you, Oliver." "Very," said Fagin. Ah, you are staring at the pocket handkerchiefs, my dear. There are many of them, aren't there? We're going to wash them. That's all, Oliver. That's all. Ha ha ha. The boys started to laugh too. Soon they went to supper. Oliver ate his share. The older man mixed a glass of hot gin and water and told the boy to drink it. Oliver did as he was told. Immediately afterwards he sank into a deep sleep.